Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. The game between the Hurricanes and the Blues is about 3 or 4 seconds away from kicking off. Brett Cameron going to be starting at 10. One of the talking points for the Hurricanes, of course, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck in the midfield for the Blues. But what a game that we've just seen. Well, I didn't get to see it, unfortunately. I was playing cricket, but did have someone covering. Tim from Rugby Itch. He absolutely loved it, how close the game was. But the kickoff now for the Blues up against the Hurricanes. I know I've got Eden Park as my background rather than Sky Stadium. I regret it, of course, because it's the wrong stadium, but we got to get by. I only sat down about 2 minutes ago. Kick to touch, ball goes out, and it's going to be a Blues line out. I should mention this is Barrett versus Barrett. It'll be exciting. See which Barrett goes out. How was the cricket? It was good overall. The result not so good, but it was a good day, and our team's come a long way in the time that we've been together as a side. Went from not winning games last year to getting into the finals. Going to be proud of the lads. Ricky Riccatelli, man, that's a rolling more and a half. They've got about 20 metres with that one, and it's still rolling. Although Ricky Riccatelli's stopping the rolling now, up to the 22. Finley Christie goes off to RTS, who is first receiver. Good low tackle made. Believe that was by Lakai, who's getting the starting opportunity at number 8. Now Christie goes off again. Delay. The Blues looking to retain possession for a majority of this first half. I would think that is something that slightly eluded them in their game up against the Brumbies, just with the amount of penalties they were giving away early. Nice run again from the Blues. They're 15 metres out. Tom Robinson looked like he was sleeping under the ruck, but it was just the way he was stuck there. Finley Christie, ball knocked out of his hands, goes backwards. Now Perafeta with a nice step, but Devin Flanders able to take him down. Counter ruck here from the Hurricanes. Penalty goes the way of the home side, which is the Hurricanes. Don't worry about Eden Park. That's just Eden Park. And as News said, nice in there as well. But yeah, hopefully you guys did enjoy seeing Tim from the Rugby Itch channel over here. I did organise it so that he was going to be covering it while I was away at the cricket. Boy, it was hot. I probably still look like I've been in a sauna for a while. I'm glad that my face has returned to a normal shade of white, though, rather than the red that it was earlier on. Zaya Walker Leawere, they're talking about him going through the middle of the breakdown. Looks like he's got away with it, though. Dane Cole's now with the line-out throw for the Hurricanes. Nicely taken by that man, Zaya Walker Leawere. 45 metres out from their own line here, the Hurricanes. Yeah, we've got a big day of Super Rugby, that is for sure. The Fijian Drua getting themselves to upset over the Crusaders. That is one of those wins that they will remember for a very long time. And Bonan Barrett now trying to break his way through. Wrestled down by Dane Coles. Those two spent a bit of time together. Now Roger Tuivasa-Sheck trying to break the line, runs straight into Geordie Barrett, who strips him clean and says, I want that number 12 jersey for the ABs. It's going to be a penalty, though, to the Blues. I think he might have just got the knee down in time. And that's what's ended up being the penalty against Geordie Barrett. Now Bowden, he will be able to kick this one for the touchline. Goes out comfortably. Looks like a decent crowd at Sky Stadium, which is great news. I might have to change my stadium and my background to Sky Stadium, just so that it feels a little bit more legitimate. We'll see what we got. It'll be nicely tapped back to Finley Christine, now leaving that one. Dalton Papali'i picked up by Satutu. And 4 more games, including this busy night/morning. Exactly right. But we are going to have a George with us for the next one. And he's normally an exciting bloke, so we have to get him on for the Reds versus Brumbies. There we go. That looks a bit better at the right stadium. Don't mind the cricketer down in the corner. Blues come on, says Young. And also we've got, well, I don't know if I can say that. It's from you, Nazi, so I think it's fine when you say it. But when I say it, people look at me funny. And Roygaard just calling his shots there. And then just dropped the ball cold, unfortunately. Like a hot potato. I actually dropped a catch in the field today. That was a bit disappointing. The old McDonald doing great things at the moment for the Blues. Although last week's game up against the Brumbies, it did seem like it didn't quite work. And I say that in the nicest way possible for the Blues. They've certainly got potential to be able to win this game. It's at Sky Stadium, so that gives, of course, the Hurricanes that little bit of an advantage. But I think they should end up going all right. All right, we will go like this. We will go like that. There we go. Finley Christie going to be feeding this ball in. Goes to the left-hand side, Pirofita. In fact, it's going to be AJ Lamb as the first receiver there. Good carry from him. No Mark Talia in that number 14 jersey for the Blues this week. So Tutu, he's been tackled. They have to release him. The ball bounces out the side, though. It's going to be a knock-on twice in a row. They will go back for the first one. Scrum feed now for the Hurricanes. Just a few little mistakes there from the Blues in a row. Took a big shot there, Satutu from Lakai. This is his opposite number in this matchup. Cameron Suafua trying to put the pressure on him early. One moment. We'll get a little bit fancy with it. We'll click this button. And we will get the lineups up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Like I mentioned, I actually, before this live stream, walked in the door, fired up the PC, click go live. We haven't had a lot of time at all, but this is the Hurricanes lineup for this matchup. Xavier Numia, Dane Coles, Tyrell Lomax as the front row, James Blackwell and Isaiah Wakaliawere as the lock, Stephen Flanders, Duplessis Karefi, and of course with Noari Savia left that gap at 8, and Lakai can certainly fill it. Roygaard and Brett Cameron as the 19, Barrett and Proctor in the midfield, and Savia, Rayasi, and Morby, who we haven't really seen too much of throughout the start of this match. That one's going to be kicked into touch by the Hurricanes, and now the Blues have got themselves the lineup. Speaking of the Blues, it will be Fusitua in the front row alongside Riccatelli and James Lay, Tuipulotu and Suafua as the locking duo, and Big Red Tom Robinson, Dalton Papali and Hoskins. So Tutu at 8, Finley Christie, Bowden Barrett. Good combination, maybe an All Blacks combination in the future. Tuivasa Sheck and Rico Ioane in the midfield. And then it is going to be Caleb Clark, AJ Lamb, and Stephen Pirofeta to close out the back. I picked the Blues to win, says Novmum. It's a decent pick. To be honest, like normally the Blues find a way of firing back. And I think they should be able to do so in this game, but it can be tricky. You know, the Hurricanes are no easy beat. Definitely not when they're at home. We saw that they were having a close game up against the Rebels not too long ago. I think I'm bleeding from the side of my nose. That side. No, we're good. I got hit in the head with a cricket ball today, but I didn't feel it, which makes me concerned. So I don't actually know if it hit me or not. Does that make sense? Pretty much I was fielding in the deep. It popped up, knocked my hat off. So I assume at worst it just glanced my forehead. But the bounce was that steep. It may have just cleanly taken off the hat. Unless I have a concussion and don't know. It looks like Bowden Barrett going to be lining up the kick. 4 attempted, 4 successful last week for the Brumbies. So it's fair to say he couldn't have done more with the kicking department other than in the game. Now Bowden Barrett lining up this kick. Looks like it's got the distance and it's missed. Just missed away to the left-hand side there. How'd the cricket go? Not how we would have liked it to as a side, but still like a pretty good effort. We did something that we hadn't done in all of our cricketing season, which was bowl out a side. Managed to bowl them out, but then just not able to chase down their total. And then we also got bowled out. Hoskins at 2-2, running hard, back at the line, 45 metres out. Now it's going to be Fusitua trying to go around Lomax. There's an advantage now in favour of the Blues. Already 8 minutes down in this match. Bowden Barrett decides to switch. It goes to Pirofeta. Taken down. Now Christie goes back to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Bowden Barrett with a quick hands to AJ Lamb, who's gone for the grubber and behind. I think that one will go into touch, and it does. And they will go back for the original penalty. How about the draw, though? Yeah, I was looking at the result throughout our batting innings because after I went out, spoiler, I went out. After that happened, I was just keeping an eye on it, and I saw it go right down to the wire. So one thing I'm definitely going to be doing is whenever I get a gap from doing the Super Rugby and Six Nations live stream, which will probably be tonight, I hope that there is a replay that I can watch of that game because the draw to beat the Crusaders in Fiji, like it was always going to be something that was a probability of happening. Yes, not a very high one, but still a probability, and they did it. They managed to get themselves that big win. Looks like Pirofeta now from 40 metres out has said, you know what, Bowden? You can go away now. I'll try and line this one up. See how I go. Come on, the Canes. Here's Sam Henry Sports. Now Pirofeta ready to line up this kick. Normally pretty cool, calm, and collected under pressure. Stephen Pirofeta. Normally pretty decent at lining up those posts. Kicking for Taranaki and the Bunnings NBC gets a lot of them over. And Blues are better than the Crusaders, but the Canes are better, says Sam Henry Sports. A few more New Zealand derbies. Blues play Crusaders next week. That's a big game that I don't think many people look that far into the future of the Super Rugby competition. And I know that for myself, I was looking at the first 3 rounds. Feta's got the distance, got the accuracy, and now making the score 3-0 for the Blues. But yeah, the fact that Blues Crusaders is next week is very exciting. I have to say, there's some good matchups coming just over the weekend next week. That was a hard sentence. Go North Island teams, says Mr. Lerm. Yeah, South Island side have been able to get the job done yet, have they? Unfortunately. It's going to be kicked high. Tuipulotu takes nicely. A 3-0 lead for the Blues. They won't mind that too much. Christie goes across to Roger Torvasashek. Runs straight at Lakai and Numia. They have to release. And Bowden goes for a kick up high. Looks like Geordie's trying to line this one up nicely. Oh, no, not nicely taken by Salisi Reasi. He had it in his hands, and then I think he landed on Geordie Barrett, which made the ball pop free. Out, Christie. Back across to Bowden, Barrett, Caleb Clark now on the outside to RTS. Big Tom Robinson's waiting for it. He didn't give him the ball, though, and lost it in the process. Roger Torvasashek. Although they've said somehow it's ended up going backwards. I don't think that was the case. But it is going to be play on for now, Nick Berry says. That one's going to be knocked out of their hands. Billy Proctor tries to knock it back. Now Bowden Barrett looks for the offload. Playing the advantage to the Blues. Ball knocked out of the hands of Roger Torvasashek again. North versus South will be a challenge. And where is this being played? It is at Sky Stadium in Wellington. I wish they'd do another North versus South game. I feel like it was a real success the last time that the two sides went head-to-head. Can't wait for the Blues Crusaders game. Be good to see it. Says Kano there. And Blues only bet than Saders, or better than Saders if they win. Comp, how many times? And I'm Blues all day, says Nazi Williams. Is Julian Savia on the field? He is. TJ Perenara, though. This is the bench that they've gone with for the Hurricanes. He does not find himself in there. It is Roy Gard starting, Jamie Booth off the bench. Also, a replacement halfback will be Taufa Funaki for the Blues. So good players off both benches. Looking forward to seeing what they can do. You'd have to say back-wise, the Blues have got the advantage. Now Finley Christie goes across. The Perafera breaks through one tackle, finds the offload now to AJ Lamb, who's flying down the wing. Great low tackle made by Josh Morby. Going to be knocked on by Rico Ioane, cleaned up by Fergus Berg. Now, he was a bit of a talking point for the Hurricanes this week. Whether or not he is going to be able to get the job done now, it will be Geordie Barrett. Goes off to Devon Flanders, bumps through Tuipulotu. Looked a little bit sore in that left arm after trying to make that challenge. Wide ball out to Dane Coles, inside ball to the bus. Starting to find some wheels in motion. A Proctor taken down 35 metres out from the Hurricanes line. It will be Lomax now hitting the ball up. Roygard back again to Burke. See Dalton Papali rushing up a little bit. Now Barrett goes back to the bus who tries to kick. That's not a good idea, Savia. I can't remember the last time I've seen a Julian Savia grubber down the middle of the field rather than an almighty boot, unless he got it that wrong, that it was supposed to go down the field a lot more. But this is the Hurricane side, Henry. Or yourself winning, and salute Kiwi lads. I'm a team doing the Blues, says Bottoming. They're doing all right. Position-wise, they've had a lot more of it. Savia, that was a shocking kick. Yeah, I don't think he meant to grub her. I think that's just how it came off his boot. Curdy E made the starting lineup for the Blues. He is not. Instead, at number 2, I believe they've got Ricky Riccatelli, and then off the bench, Kurt Eklund finds himself there. Now, looks like we're having a drinks break after 14 minutes. Must be hot in Wellington, like it is down here. I'm so proud of my Fijian Drillers win over the Crusaders. It was a massive, massive win for the draw and a confidence builder for sure. I just wish I was able to watch the game live. I did have to just look at a scoreboard for it while playing a bit of cricket. But I think I'm definitely going to find a replay to watch of that game, and it should be a very good one to watch. Be good to see if the Blues get payback for the final. There's Kano for that next week's game. So Nepolulala might be not too far away from making his way out onto the field. Maybe not. Maybe he has to wait a bit longer. By the looks of it, there is a later night game happening between the Western Force and Moana Pacifica. I can confirm, sadly, we won't be doing that game. Instead, we will probably be getting a few hours sleep before our Six Nations venture, but also just getting everything organised. We weren't able to quite do today. Got a bit of editing get through. It was hot in Hamilton this afternoon. Went to the Chiefs Manawa game. Says Nov Mum, how'd they end up going? Nov Mum, do let me know. They've got the Inter Islander just next to Sky Stadium. It's a massive cruise ship up the road about a month ago. Me and George saw in the Timaru port. So there's going to be a free kick to the Hurricanes for a little bit of pre-engagement taking place. You reckon there will be much yellow or red cards tonight? In this game, I think we might see a yellow. Just the one, though. Although it's hard to say, isn't it? Because if there's enough penalties in front of the post or right out from the goal line, the ref pretty much has no option but to say, yeah, should probably go to the pocket. They won 46-38. Geez, that would have been a good game to watch too. Who were they playing? No, they went against. Oh, were they Matatu? Were they playing them? Or they play them last week? Get them a week's muddled. Or were they playing the Chiefs? Or sorry, not the Chiefs, the Blues. It's going to be a big push from the Hurricanes. They win the advantage as well. That is a huge confidence booster for their fallback. Beautiful offload from Geordie Barrett. Now goes to Roygard, who's lined up by Tuivasa Sheck. Ball out to Salisi Rayasi. Now, Lakai was calling for the kick in behind and then proceeded to jog after it. That is because he got too much on it. Matatu says, Novmum, Chiefs 3 for 3 in the men's and the women's, says Kano. Yeah, they're playing very well at the moment. The Chiefs find themselves near the top of the table. I think the other team that's relatively up there at the moment is actually, I think the Hurricanes are in second. I'm just going to have a quick look at the table. Yep, Chiefs in first, 3 from 3. They've got 15 points, though. If the Hurricanes win this game with a bonus point, they will only be on 14. So at the end of this round, we are confirmed to see the Chiefs at the top. And every game that they've played, they've got themselves a winning bonus point, including their game up against the Crusaders, which is pretty impressive. Barrett versus Barrett, says Mr. Liam. Yeah, actually right. I don't think I got sunburnt today. I think I'm still very white, very pale, which is good. Not much there in terms of tan. Finley Christie thinking about feeding his ball in. Oh, he wasn't looking. Watch what's happening, Finley. Nearly 16 and a half minutes down in this matchup between the Blues and the Hurricanes. The next game that we are covering, it will be the Reds taking on the Brumbies. It will be myself and it will be George covering that one with me, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, brother Hamish, this is Marco Vunapolo. Welcome in, mate. You're doing well. My mum actually was talking about you the other day, Marco, or Johnny, or other one. But she was saying she's been keeping an eye on your Facebook page and you're looking pretty busy at the moment. You'll be happy with the Chiefs, 3 from 3 for their first 3 games, I'm sure. And the Chiefs have won every game by 20 plus points, says Mr. Lerm, which is pretty massive for them. It's gone down in the front row. Penalty goes the way of the Blues this time, and I think, says Mr. Lerm. So their first game, one moment, we'll go to matches. Chiefs won up against the Moana Pacifica, 52-29. So, 23 points. First game up against Crusaders by 21, and game up against the Chiefs by 21. So, you are correct. Every game they've won by 20 points. And surprisingly, the Crusaders, other than their game up against the Highlanders, they have been struggling this season, which I think is something that a lot of people will be happy about to a certain extent because it does mean that everyone else gets that little bit closer at the start of the competition. This Blue side is stacked of AB stars. Yep, their whole backline pretty much in the ABs at this point. Christie, Barrett, Tuivasa Sheck, Ioane, Clark. They have gone with AJ Lamb, which I think is the common denominator in their side. Going to be another penalty to the Blues. Should be an easy 3 if they want it. And I think they will take this. Dane Coles, confused at what's going on. He just said to the ref, we were just having a bit of fun, mate. Barry says, mate, it was a breakdown. Oh, they're not taking the 3. Okay. Mindset's changed for the Blues here. They've gone 3s are great, but 7s are better. Speaking of 7s, the Hong Kong 7's not too far away. We will be covering that on the channel as well. So anyone who is new, sure to leave a like and subscribe. That was a flawless promo right there. I don't think that will happen again. Great transition involved in it as well, I have to say. Now it looks like Tui Pilotu might be the man who receives this one. Yeah, I appreciate your parents. They are legends for showing love on Facebook. His mate work is busy right now. Got an apprentice with me. Oh, how's he getting on? Or she? How are they going? Are you enjoying having to teach them? So know when I'm working with dad, I've said this many times. Oh, Riccatelli, 2 meters out from the line. Now Tui Pilotu, he's over the line. It's a try for the Blues, and that will be the first of the match. But yeah, I've said this many times. If my dad wasn't my boss when I build, I would have been sacked like 7 times. But I'm very lucky in that regard. I somehow still have a job. And how was the clubbing last night? Nah, it was dead as Nick. There was hardly anything happening. By clubbing, we just went to the pub. So that was about the extent of it. It was a person's birthday, but there weren't really that many people there for his birthday. Although something interesting did happen. Well, surprising happened. Um, yeah, it was a strange scenario. Here's great try, says Mr. Lerman. Roll them all, says the snooze. Still believe against the stronger Northern Hemisphere sides, teams, the forwards is where we struggle, says Brendan. It depends on the side a little bit, doesn't it? Because when you look at some teams, like for example, the Irish, you look at their loose forward trio, and you've got options for days. You could go with Peter O'Mahony at 6, Josh Van and Flair at 7, Kalen Doris, Jack Conan. The list goes on. Gavin Coombs coming up through the rankings. Like they've got a very strong loose forward trio. Whereas for the All Blacks, it's not really confirmed who's going to be where. Like, yes, we've got a number 6 in either Kiriwani or Shannon Frizzell. They still seem to be a little bit 50-50 with who it's going to be. Our number 7's 57 years old. And then our number 8 is our number 7, which is Artie Savia. But he plays pretty well at number 8, so they leave him there. And it seems like that is where they're going to go with him more in the future. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for Patrick Tuipulotu, who managed to get himself the first try. And I was like, yeah, lucky, or you're lucky, mate. Yeah, the young fella goes, all right, he's got a good attitude. Everything can be taught. So as long as the attitude is right, we'll eventually get there, says Marco. Yeah, as long as you listen, that's the main thing as an apprentice, isn't it? Like rather than going, oh, I've seen a video where a guy built something, so I'm a builder. Like my dad always says, just because you own a hammer doesn't mean you're a builder. But, there is room for improvement for the young guys. That's like me. I got upgraded to using a drill recently. Well, it was a couple years ago, but you get my point. Before that, I was just the sweeper. Now it looks like there's a little bit of awkwardness there in the breakdown. Rico Ioane trying to hold it in. Ball available for the Hurricanes. Very lucky. I wrestled down again. I might wait for George before I tell what happened at the pub last night. Because there was something that was a bit surprising. Very surprising, in fact. And it wasn't the fact that they didn't have ready salted chips, so I had to get salt and vinegar instead. It could be a 3-point win, a Barrett drop goal finish. Nah, try finish, says Mr. Lerm. I believe that was Dalton Pabali'i being penalised for that one. Brett Cameron now will kick this one into touch, just out about 30 metres from the Blues line now. And even ever used a nail gun. Not very often. I think I've used a nail gun about once. Not so much because I'm not allowed to use a nail gun, just more I haven't actually needed to, because normally by the time I get to whatever job we're doing in terms of the order of events, normally Dad's already done all of the framing and everything like that. I just come in and take the glory. That's not true, by the way. I think, if anything, he's definitely the shining light of the building company. Julian Savia does well, gets that ball out the back. It's going to be a knock on, but that looked illegal. Well, Rico Ioane's been watching a little bit of the USC, working on his suplexes. Now, Xavier Numia decides to run it himself. I've used the compression power one, not the electric ones, says Kano. See, my daddy uses the gas ones. So, is that the same as the compression one? You can tell I'm only an apprentice, can't you? Lakai, nice run. Almost stolen in the breakdown by Satutu. Now Roy Gard goes off to Xavier Numia again. And Pub Stories, yes, tell us, says Marco. Well, me and George, we're doing the Blues versus Reds. George might tell it slightly differently. Well, he'll use more vulgar language. It's going to be the penalty going the way of the Hurricanes. I feel like when you're 10 points down, yes, it would be nice to get some points on the board, but I think you got to try and take on the 7 rather than 3 in good fashion rugby. Says the snooze there. Yep. Brett Cameron kicking this one for the touchline. Hello, I'm back, says Pads of Place. I do see that you're also back to a member as well, Peter. You must have renewed, I assume. So sure to use some of those emojis. We need to update our emojis, don't we? We've still got the Christmas one. But it is only 9 months till Christmas. And also, how are we? Fiji on a full swing weekend mode. They had a brilliant game. I did get to see the scoreboard from my cricket, but I didn't get to see the actual match. I'm looking forward to watching it on repeat, though. Yeah, we had Tim from Rugby Itch on the commentary on there. Hopefully, he was very excited near the end of the game when the Fijians were able to get themselves over the line, getting the win. Now, Zai Wakaleawiri, nice league drive here. The Hurricanes only finding themselves 10 metres out from the line now. Good attack and run. Ooh, voice trying to give out. I was yelling in the field a little bit. Billy Proctor moves to 5 out from the line now. Roy Guard back across to Devon Flanders. To see Karifi does well. Another advantage. 5 metres out from the line. Roy Guard with a bit of a step. Almost over, not dragged down. Now around the side, it's going to be Peter Lakai. Wow, that's a good league drive from Hoskins to Tutu, but they've said that it was round the neck, so it's going to be another advantage against the Blues. I'd say a third advantage and someone's going to the bin here. 5 metres out for the line. Roy Guard goes across now to Duplessis. Karefi tries to drop Suafua. Up to the left again. Roy Guard stepping 3 metres out. They're just persisting, but the Blues doing well in defence. You could say illegally at times. They have given away 2 advantages, but they've still been able to get the job done up till this point. Ball available for Dane Coles. Finds the offload. Duplessis Karifi, the spin from Lomax. And he'll score the try for the Hurricanes, the big tight head prop. And hold. There's a snooze. And also we have got Chiefs versus Rebels next week. Both will, with great wins last night, says the Loom, or Mr. Loom, I should say. And also, how was the cricket, lad? And how was your cricket? It went all right. We didn't get ourselves the victory, I will say, but still a good enough performance from our team. There were moments where it was like a bit of inexperience, I guess you could say, in terms of like the deck that we were playing on. It's artificial, of course. So it's hard. It was a spinner's paradise out there, I would say. But we didn't bowl a lot of spin, which I think kind of cost us a little bit. We were giving away a lot of runs off our quick bowlers. Oh, Geordie's hit the post from close out and hasn't managed to convert. And how do you see the game? I am watching on Sky Sport 1 at the moment, George. I used the super old one that my granddad has. If they had attached an ear compression hose. Oh, okay. Bind, says Gano. And there we go. Damn, very quick calls, says the snooze. So Geordie, that would have had about 100% accuracy or 100% likely to go over. And it didn't. Dang it, good try though, says Better Blaze. Yeah, I'm more than happy with the team. Like, at the end of the day, last year we didn't win a single game. This year we got on a bit of a winning streak to make it through to the final. And yeah, we did something in this game that we weren't able to do in a lot of matches. Geordie, what was that? Says Better Blaze. Hey, mate, I'm back, says Xavier. Welcome back, mate. And do you have to pay? Sadly, Sky Sports does a paid service, but they will have the highlights of the game on YouTube, on the Super Rugby YouTube channel, George, straight after the game. So I highly recommend checking out that. Sadly, not the full game, though. Although, depending what country are you in, George? I know that some of the games are shown on Prime here in New Zealand. They may not be live, though. And now we are convinced that Crusaders won't win the premiership now. Chiefs is my prediction to win it this year, says Ed. Now, what I have a bad feeling that could happen. I think Chiefs will qualify first. Crusaders could find themselves qualifying 8th and then play each other in the quarterfinals. And in that game, I wouldn't be surprised if the Crusaders win it. And also, I'm if now I took a walk/run. There's Beds Ablaze. It was pretty hot out in the middle. Like Bowden Barrett joining that breakdown. Nicely done. Oh, going to be the penalty against Wakaleawiri. Yep, penalty against them. Morning, Amish. Been 30 minutes before I have to dash to work. It was a great, exciting win for the Fiji earlier. Crusaders went on vacation. Says revving up the Blues. There's George and Lomax getting better and better. I didn't really rate him in his early career. He's definitely on the come up and far superior to the other hopeless tight head props. There's Marco there. And it may have been a couple of months, but I'm still sulking that the Brisbane Heat lost the Big Bash. Don't worry, they've got next year. And what did the Crusaders, or did the Drua beat the Crusaders in Fiji? They did. Fiji and Drua 25 points to 24 in the end. Like, very good win. Like Stephen Petafeta once again will be lining up 3 points. Tuipulotu, his day is over, or his night. He goes at 7:30. Congratulations, Hamish, on your cricket game, as long as you gave it your best, says Rick. Yeah, like, our team, I feel like we did pretty well overall. It's the first final for a lot of these guys. And, like, yeah, we had certain players who hadn't scored many runs up till this point, and they managed to get double figures, so that was absolutely awesome to see. We had a few batsmen who didn't quite do what they would have liked while they were out at the middle. Big loss, says the snooze. I'm watching NRL, but keeping up with the game thanks to you, bro. Says 19. Oh, does anyone know that's gone away to the right-hand side? Or in fact, the left, sorry, from where he's kicking it. Does anyone know how the Warriors went? Now, this is either going to be a touchy subject if the Warriors lost by a lot, or if they won, then there might be some happy people. Do you have to have any certification to be a builder in New Zealand? You do need to go through the building hub, I believe it's called, to be a registered builder. As an apprentice / only part-time builder, due to the fact that my dad has experience, I'm able to do that without having that qualification. But if I was to branch out by myself, I would need that building hub kind of building certificate type thing. Some people don't have it, and that's why when they end up doing a job, my dad has to go in after about 10 years later. Well, sorry, not 10 years, 10 months later and fix it, because they didn't do it properly. It'll run from Tom Robinson. Warriors lost 20-12. Okay, so not the worst loss, but still not the best, I guess you could say. Would have loved to see them get another early win. Be kicked high from Bowden Barrett. Goes down to the 22. Fergus Burke takes it nicely. And now we'll be able to boot this one downfield into touch, and it's a good kick down towards the halfway line. Do you get sleep? Sometimes. I managed about 7 hours last night. Tonight, I think we're going to be going to bed at about 7:45 a.m. So we're up for another 12 hours from now. So it's going to be a fun night. I was saying, Tosa Viti Toso. Well, what a win for the Fijian brothers. And also Warriors always lost deuce, says Marco. And another packed stadium for the most popular sport in New Zealand, says Tieta. Only on that far side. On the near side, they didn't put anyone, unfortunately. Who scored for the Canes? It was Tyrell Lomax to pick himself up the try. Now the Blues with Finley Christie, loose ball. Penalty goes the way of the Blues, and this time Nick Berry's going to reach for his pocket. Isaiah Walker-Liwiri is going to the bin. And remember, New Zealand beat England by 1 run after a follow-on. I do remember that one. That was a massive win for the Kiwis, that is for sure. In a game that a lot of people thought that they had pretty much lost. How was the score? Did you bet long overs? I betted quite a while. I'm wiping sunscreen off my face at the moment. But yeah, I betted up until almost the drinks break at 20 overs. But it's unfortunate because every time I considered going a little bit more aggressive, I was playing more of the anchor role. And every time I thought, okay, next over, I'm going to start going a little bit harder at the ball, try and get a few more runs. Then we'd lose the wicket at the other end. And then I had to go back to, okay, I'm just going to be here for a bit longer. Damn fast pocket pick. Here's the snooze. Good evening, Hamish. How's your day at the crickets? We did lose, Nate, but it was still a good effort from the side, I would say. My bowling, I won't tell you my figures, but I didn't deserve the figures that I got, that is for sure. Now, that could be taken two ways. Either that could be that they're real good and I thought I bowled badly, or they could be really bad and I thought I bowled good. Other two. Now, Christie. Well, for Wes Georgie will be joining for the Reds versus Brumbies, but he's now just finishing up work here at the moment. In New Zealand, he's working slightly late, contract in business. Good run from Tuavasa Sheck. 10 metres out from the line. Loose ball from Christie. No one really wanted to claim that one, but Cameron Sawafua has to pick it up. Tackled by Billy Proctor. Now in there straight away for the Hurricanes. Clean turnover. Looked like a knock on there on the ground. Yes, it was. Bit of a miscommunication. And yeah, don't they use the graphics insert in New Zealand rugby coverage? Or are they still painting the grass? They do insert the graphics. So they don't go with the non-technology side of things. I know that they used to for a while, didn't they? But then they kind of decided to go away from that. Did the Warriors win? Sadly not. Lost 20 points to 12. Tomorrow is the final for New Zealand Breakers versus Sydney Kings. Kings are leading 2-1. Oh, so did they play yesterday? Or was it the day before that they managed to get up to 2-1? Will be exciting to see the New Zealand crowd and how the Kings get the job done. You see, that's the thing. If New Zealand win that one, the Breakers win that, they're going into the final game, but it's in Sydney, isn't it? It will be a big game for the Breakers. Go the Queensland Reds. Here's Xavier. Yeah, we are going to be covering that game straight after this one, starting at about 9:35. So we've got just under 2 hours till that next match takes place. Another reset of the scrum. Currently playing with a man advantage here, the Blues, so they do need to make the most of this opportunity rather than missing out. The 9 has to protect the short sides, what Justin Marshall's saying. Okay, so they're just saying about the slight rule change that they've had. How, as the halfback, you're not allowed to put as much pressure as you used to be able to in a scrum. Now it is going to be put in by Finley Christie. Big push from the Hurricanes, keeping it stable. A whole extra man trying to push through, but unable to do so. Now Christie short ball. Rico Ioane, who almost did end up with a fumble there straight on it. Reasi doesn't quite win the penalty. Now Satutu with the nice step. Hurricanes need to make sure their discipline is good here, or else they might find themselves playing with 13 at the end of this first half. Now Christie goes off to Satutu. Bowden Barrett to Rico Ioane. Got the space, gives it off to Caleb Clark. Great low tackle made by Fergus Burke. Oh, sorry, Brett Cameron. Now Christie, drop ball goes backwards. Fusitua just managed to find Barrett with his deflection. Inside ball to Caleb Clark. Referee has to jump it like it was a jump rope. Christie again goes off to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Picked up, put down by Devon Flanders. Quick ball to James Tucker. Now Roygaard tried to get the turnover, unable to do so. Rushing up there, Lomax very quickly. Legally, they've said. Almost stolen in the breakdown. The Blues have done very well to hang on to this ball. Now, another good tackle made by Proctor goes up to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, who stayed down. Might have some sort of injury or just decided that he'd be better off lying on the ground. Now, wide cut out pass to Caleb Clark. Down the wing, stepping on the inside. And the tackle was not successful from whoever that was at the back for the Hurricanes. Ended up slipping over. So that will be the second try of the match for the Blues. And have you seen any games from the new rugby tournament, Superliga Americana? I haven't. I don't know whether or not they're showing them here in New Zealand. But watching Argentina for the 7 side of things, and I hope they do keep on progressing their union. I know that's 120 balls, not bad. Night Watchman, says Roof there. So yeah, I faced about half of those 120. Why is there 2 different kind of stadium? Why is there 2 different kind of Sky Stadium and them not calling Sky Stadium when it's Westpac Stadium? Says Henry. So I assume you're talking about the fact that it says Westpac there. It's just an older photo. All it is, it's not too deep. I was born in Queensland, so I'm a Reds fan. We're happy we won 70-21 against the Force. Says Xavier. And also, I reckon the batsman didn't show up. Says Nate. Jeff, no one cares about the Americana rugby. That's harsh. And what game do you reckon we will see the first red card? I think it's going to be in the Western Force Moana Pacifica game. And man, the defense is reading and pushing strong. Clark finding vision, Emmy. It's news and too many rules apply to rugby union. Should drop the deliberate rules, knock on. I look at Sevens. Touch on his shoulder is high. And that kick is unsuccessful for Petafeta, just going away to the right-hand side. Now, there's 3 minutes left on the clock. It will be the Blues 15 and 5 for the Hurricanes. What's the combined kg of the scrum packs? A lot. Yeah, the Blues are looking at over 900 kgs. I think the Hurricanes just under that. But you're playing with 1 less man out on the field, so they'll be certainly under that at the moment. mention anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We've got the Reds versus Brumbies just around the corner. It will be myself and George, and also 2 games of the Six Nations will be taking place a lot later on as well. Now, Clark running it hard. Dane Coles manages to make the tackle. Now, for as much attacking as we've seen from the Blues, they're still only ahead by 10, which might be a little bit of a problem for them. Definitely if the Hurricanes score now, just before the end of the half, and Blues 900. Oh, so the Hurricanes actually have the advantage. It's surprising. Where do they make up their way? I guess Isaiah Walker-Leawere is a bigger boy than Tui Piloto and Suafua, so maybe that's what's weighing them down to a certain extent. What's your prediction, lad? I think the Blues will take it out, but I think the Hurricanes will try and keep it close for as long as they can. That was another knock on. All right, we all go like this. Go like this as well. Great run from Rieko Ioane, watching it out of the corner of my eye now. AJ Lamb, this is the poor defense from the Hurricanes, just allowing those extra meters. Now Christie goes off to the left-hand side. Bowden Barrett goes to Suafua. And close to the try line now. Tucker goes across to James Lay with the sell of the dummy. Gets back up to his feet, tries to crawl. Uwasa Shek told to go to the left by Suafua. It was a good decision in the end. Fusitua hits it up again. Now to the left. Here comes Perafeta. Inside Border Satutu. Hurdles. Tried to go himself. Oh, he's reached late there. That was probably too late. I think an offer to Rieko Ioane would have been a much better option at that point. I don't really know how good the Blues are, so I only put $50 for the Blues to win. Says Spider Mick. Okay, so going a little bit lighter, I guess, in your standards, Spider Mick. And oh, wow, that's huge. Imagine the pressure on their necks and shoulders, says Roof. And my hometown rugby league team, Ipswich Jets, are playing the South Logan Magpies in 13 minutes, says Xavier. Henry says I have 96 subs. Right, I think for me, Satutu was tackled here. He's down. That for me is down. And then he tries to reach. I think that there was more than one dynamic movement. Thank you. I've got a drink. Has shown up. A Powerade Zero. Hydration is key, ladies and gentlemen. Get your electrolytes in. Even though I have no idea what electrolytes do, other than they make a bottle look important. Electrolytes, Lost in Sweat. There you go. Not a sponsor. And they've actually awarded that try. It seemed like it took a little while for him to get it down. Didn't see the Canes beat the Blues after pre-season. Says this news there. It looks so blue on live stream. That's because it is. Kick is successful. Actually rushed that one, Perafeta, because I guess they want one more chance while the Hurricanes are still one man down. Perafeta went with the inside ball to Satutu. Then from there, he was tackled, and then they called it one dynamic movement, which I'm a little bit 50-50 about, which I think the crowd were as well. They ended up doing, but that might also be because they were Hurricanes supporters, and there was a try scored against them. Now 22 points to 5 currently, the Blues with the lead, 17 points difference. That was the try that the Hurricanes desperately needed. Finley Christie kicks it in touch, says that'll do us, thank you. And that'll be halftime, 5 points to 22 at the moment. One more try, Hurricanes make it close, says Mr. Loom. I think they're going to certainly need something big in the second half, the Hurricanes, if they want any chance of being able to fire back in this contest. Looking at the way the table sits, the Blues, if they win this game, I believe, one moment, Blues will assume they get a bonus point win. That will move them up to 11. So that will actually put them into second place as we currently sit. Of course, there are still plenty of games coming this weekend. 2 more, Brumbies versus the Reds, and also Moana Pacifica versus the Force. That won't change too much. And the Reds, if they win, they'll still be behind. If the Brumbies win, they'll go up to third. So at worst, at the end of round 3, the Blues will be third if they lose this game. And Kale Afa And one more try, Hurricanes make it close, says Mr. Loom. Yeah, they're going to need something early on. They want any chance of making their way through. Some would say it is fight or flight. I think I'm dehydrated. I apologize for that joke, ladies and gentlemen. It wasn't great. It also took about 5 minutes for me to find where the plane was. Hope you had a good cricket game, Amy says the snooze. It was enjoyable, even though we ended up losing in that matchup. Like, it was still a very fun game to take part in. Enjoyed it. Enjoyed some of the banter out there. I think I got some of the good banter overall. It sounds like there was a bit of talk between some of the other players and whatnot that wasn't going so nicely, but I got some good chatter in with them. Early halftime. Keep your hydration going, average dry lips and throat not nice, says Ruth. Yeah. And it was hotter today than I thought it was going to be, which was difficult because we fielded first. That's 40 overs in the field, and then they're like, "Hey, you're opening." I was like, "Yes, I'm so happy," but I kept on forgetting stuff. I was going out of the changing shed, then realized I forgot my shoes because I was wearing just my normal shoes, but I have cricket shoes for batting just because they're a little bit more solid at the front so that if I get one on the toe, it doesn't break my foot. So I ended up going back in, getting my shoes, in the process, leaving the gloves in there. So then I went back out and went, oh, gloves. Went back in, got the gloves, had a couple throwdowns and went out there. Had a fun time while doing it. Did you hear about what happened to Latrell Mitchell against Penrith? I didn't. Did he get a bit naughty, Xavier, or was he cheap shotted? It's got to be one of the two, though, doesn't it? I watched League with Dad since I was 5. Now I'm 23. Hey, he's the same age as me, Spider-Man. Try to read the rugby union rules. Me too far, or far too many. Read the spirit of the games. Spider-Mick. And Timmy did all right today. Here's Blues Nate. Timmy Southey. Is that Tim Southey? I know that Matt Henry had a good innings. In fact, we're going to Google that while we're at halftime, ladies and gentlemen. NZ versus Sri Lanka. I don't know what the obsession is with the Black Caps at the moment in terms of why. Okay, Tim Southey hasn't got any wickets yet. The wickets came for Blair Tickner since Sri Lanka made their way back to the innings. But yeah, we've got this obsession at the moment. Oh, Timmy Rugby, yeah, he did very well. We actually checked in on him a couple times while we were at the cricket because that was after I'd gone out for the batting. And yeah, it seemed like he was going well. You guys are great in terms of like, I could have anyone on and you guys seem to just go, okay, it's not Hamish, but it's rugby. We just embrace it. Hamish, my 15th birthday is next week. There's Sam Henry there. And a fan held racial abuse towards Latrell. He was a Roosters, or was in a Roosters shirt, got removed. And I was like, sorry, Hamish meant Tim. He pulled it off, says Nate. And I knew it was going to be a good game. That's why we couldn't afford to not have some coverage for you guys. Like Fiji, playing in Fiji, we had to do it. And I was hoping that maybe I could pop in for some of it, but the game went a little bit longer than anticipated. I actually, for this live stream, we've been going 48 minutes. The game started about maybe 48 minutes ago. It was pretty much straight into it. We need to think of a prank on George next game, Amy. What could you prank George with? I don't think George is very prankable. Like he's gullible, but not prankable per se. You know, what a game, Fiji draw. Here's Blues Nate there. Yeah, great win for them. 25 points to 24. I haven't been able to watch the game, but I also haven't seen the reaction from Tim yet. But I'm looking forward to seeing how he reacted to those final moments. Yeah, it's a great game to have. Oh, that was what I was saying. What is New Zealand's obsession in Test match cricket with scoring just over 2 and over? Have you guys noticed that lately? We seem to really enjoy not scoring quickly, but instead just ticking along. Like they faced how many overs? 107 overs in the end to get 373. Okay, so they actually sped up by the time that I was leaving because, like, after 58 overs, they were 151, 75 overs, 188. Then it seems like after that, they kind of sped up because of Tim Southey. Matt Henry, once again, doing very nicely. And Daryl Mitchell, I think he might have gotten himself a bit. Yeah, 102 for Daryl Mitchell. He is one of the most underrated batsmen in Test match cricket at the moment. Like his average is about 58. Top scores again, doing very well indeed. Currently in this game, anyone wondering, 22 points to 5 in favour of the Blues. The one try for the Hurricanes came in the form of Tyrell Lomax. Then for the Blues, we have seen a try from Caleb Clark, we've seen a try from Patrick Tuipulotu, and we've seen a try from Hoskins Tutu. Those are the three try scorers. I really missed the halftime ukulele, says Rudy. Sadly, the guitar's gone walkabouts. All I've got is a glass bottle that I have just found. I could play a little bit of like a bit of that. That's about all I've got in me at the moment. To me, it was awesome. Thunderstruck. No, 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 no. Quite good stuff. Tropical mango. Give it a go if you haven't already. Ukulele time. Here's the snooze. Yeah, no, we haven't got a ukulele on us at the moment. Sadly. I'm just looking around for anything that could be classed as an instrument because, some things don't have to be an instrument to be an instrument. You know? Sounds a bit fancy. And people never think that we all human, doesn't matter how we look, size, color, we are, says Bottomik. Exactly. Yeah. See, they're only on day 3 at the moment for Sri Lanka versus New Zealand. We're gonna catch up on all of our test matches. South Africa lead by that's gonna be a tough run chase for the West Indies. But they will be batting by the end of today, I would say. You can clap. That is true. That was a terrible clap. I've actually learned how to clap really loudly. I'm not going to do it now, but because of cricket, I get to clap in the outfield. Like that's only very lightly, but you know that crisp pop, And I was saying, "We will rock you," says Kano. I think I'll leave that to Queen. They're a bit better than me, aren't they? Queen? Yeah. Bit of Freddie Mercury. Amazing, says Rudy, and Crusaders back to drawing board and do some analysis of the game. How long till the second half resumes? Probably about, I'd say 5 minutes or so till the second half gets back underway. But yeah, normally the halftime breaks do feel like quite a long time. So while we're at it, we might as well see what India. Oh, Australia getting 480, India 141 for 1. So pretty much what's happened there is someone got in big trouble for producing a very bad pitch. And then after that, they were like, you know what, we'll just make a road because it will make it look better. Not really, he's dead. You will sound better now, says Gareth. Although it could be one of those cases how sometimes songs sound better after the artist has passed. It's like how art and actual painting and whatnot. When an artist dies, their work goes skyrocketing through the roof. It's not a great tactic if you're looking for a way of developing yourself as an artist. I would recommend staying alive, just like the Bee Gees said. But yeah, interesting how it works, isn't it? And Timmy was shocked the draw pulled off an upset over the Satyrs. Who would have thought? Our game of the week, says Blues Nate. Yeah, it sounded like a right cracking matchup between the two sides. Who was the Pat Cummins of New Zealand cricket bowlers? Didgeridoo. Oh, New Zealand cricket wise, you probably say, Wagner's the closest. Because I wouldn't say Tim Southey and Pat Cummins bowl the same style. I'd say that Tim Southey's almost more of a combination of Mitchell Stark and Hazelwood. And doesn't matter how good you are, if it's not your day, it's not your day, says Spider Mech. Is that for the artist side of things or the cricket? It might be for the cricket. I did drop a catch in the cricket, sadly. But luckily, it wasn't the guy who was scoring all the runs. One of our opposition actually managed 100. It was his first century as well. So, pretty awesome moment for him. He got close last time we played them. I believe he ended up with about 86, 84, somewhere around there. So, yeah, did deserve to get the 100. He was 100 and something not out. Missing key players for the Satyrs. The Blues and Julian Savia will score. You think the bus is going to find himself over the try line? Possibility. Handy enough player, Julian Savia. What we will do while we're at halftime, though, we'll look through at the benches, see what type of information we can gather from here. Safa Moore is going to be a handy player for the Hurricanes when he comes off that bench, replacing Dane Coles. And they've got, I'd say, the next big thing for them in terms of their players is probably Jamie Booth. Because once he makes his way out onto the field for Roygaard, I feel like it will throw just a little bit of something different at the Blues, which could be important. Riley Higgins also could be quite handy. The number 23 for the Blues, Kurt Eklund, he will end up replacing the starting number 2, Ricky Riccatelli. Hodgman and Lalala, they've got plenty of scrum power coming off that bench, that is for sure. And there, Ratamaitavuki Nepkins, Bryce Heem, 2 very classy backs who it's quite hard to fit in to that Blues back line, depending on what they go with and who's kind of injured is normally the best way of looking at it. Whoever's injured, it makes it a lot easier for them because they'll just be like, yeah, he's looking a bit sore. We'll take him off the bus. There's Nate. And you know what we really want halftime? A painting pig called Picasso. This pig sold a painting for R500,000. Sort of on Discovery Channel. There's Rudy. Why is Savia called the bus? Normally, it's a good question. Because the logic behind it is supposed to be that he runs over the top of everyone, but buses aren't supposed to hit people, are they? So it's slightly logical, but if you were in the way of a bus, you are going down. There's no doubt about that. So yeah, it's just that he runs over people. So he's a bad bus driver or a bad bus. He picked up passengers, says Nate. David Warner playing there. The Bee Gees were terrific. Their trousers were way too tight. That's why they sung so high. It's because they couldn't breathe because their balls were getting strangled. Sorry, that's inappropriate. Halftime. That was actually very high as well. David Warner, I don't believe is playing in the India versus. I'll just have a look. No, it's Travis Head and Usman Khawaja. And Booth should have started. Really want to see 2 ginger number 9s, says Isle19. And he's been a very strong weakness. Well, there's been a very strong weakness by Saders for a while. The Cracks has it fixed. But it was a matter of time. Team was filled with technicians, says the snooze there. But now, second half, just about to get underway. Not too far away at all. I think I'm going to have too many electrolytes today. This is actually my second Powerade. Not as high as the mosquito. Yeah, no, they're really annoying, like, aren't they? That wasn't a mosquito, but you get the point. They're really like buzzy. Well, if you can hear a mosquito, you must be doing all right. That must be a very quiet room you're in, Kano. It's like you can hardly hear a fly here in New Zealand, but that's because we got birds chirping, banging. A lot of banging, of course, referring to stuff happening outside, such as like someone running into their shed. How about the drill game, Amish says to me? So I got to see the scoreboard, didn't get to see the match, but tell you what, that's going to be a good replay to watch because I think it was 12 points to 6 in favor of the Crusaders or something along those lines. The Crusaders had taken the lead, then it was 12-12, if I'm not wrong, or something like that, maybe 12-5, and then quite close, it's right next to me, says Kano. Well, make sure it doesn't suck your blood, because or else then it will leave that nice little welt. And the train is Artie, says Spider Mick. And if he's the bus, who's the train? Says Mr. Loom. Does anyone have the nickname The Plane? It's not really a good nickname. That's got the nickname The Plane. But you'd have to be good at flying. So who's good at flying? Who's someone who's real good at scoring in the corner? Salisi Rayasi, could he be a plane? A jet? Be kicked off for the second half, ladies and gentlemen. We are underway. Call of Duty Black is not, says Frank. And 12-5 at halftime. Crusaders 25-24 to the driller, says Sammy Sosa. So, yeah, they were able to fight back very well. Does that victory. Yeah, I was just looking at the updating on the score. And at the start of the match, I knew full well that the Fijian drill were going to be close. Did I expect them to get the win? I actually said to my younger cousin who came down to watch the cricket, I was like, they're going to play well, but I don't know if they'll quite get there. I think it's going to be close. But in the end, They snuck it. You know what I mean? Satyrs 3 years before and past of 2020 was solid, and Corey Jane, he doesn't play anymore, or Ni Monaskata. That is true. Also, NRL had Hayne playing. Hi, says George. Welcome back, George. Now, Roy Guard, first receiver, Rayasi. Off to Duplessis Karifi. Now, Roy Guard again. Inside ball. So, Asafa Moa actually now out there for the start of the second half rather than coming off the bench a little bit later on. Devon Flanders does well there. Another big shot coming in from the Blues. There's plenty of physicality out there on the park at the moment. Now, another good step. Roy Guard goes back. Zaya Wakariawiri tries to get to it. Looks like Rico Ioani's going to win the foot race. Being able to take it nicely. 30 meters out from the line. Rayasi steals it back. Blues trying to go for the double turnover, but not able to do so. Now Roy Guard boots it down on the left boot, taken by Bowden Barrett. Just outside of his 22. Now it is going to be Stephen Perafeta. Goes to Caleb Clark. Almost going through. Great tackle made by Flanders. Now Suafua to Perafeta. Tusitua. Assume that he will be the man who gives way for Hodgman when he makes his way off the bench. I says George. And how can you see the game full? For free, Prime is your best option if you're in New Zealand, George. But normally it is delayed. And damn, some mutants with biological taringas. Taringas, isn't it? Mosquitoes have ears. Do mosquitoes have ears? Is that how the song went? Maunga, maybe. Maunga, like Richie Moonga, isn't it almost? Bowden Barrett kicks it out on the full. It's a rare mistake from the veteran Bodie. McDonald not happy with that one, having a bit of a head shake. It's like Corey Jane, very concentrated at the moment, needs a way of his side getting back into the contest. Devon Flanders takes it at the back. Roy Guard now goes to Rayasi. Barrett, good carry forward, tackled by Dalton Papali'i, who ended up falling on the wrong side. He will end up being penalised, but I feel slightly bad for him because he was kind of stuck in the wrong place. Now Roy Guard goes back to Burke again. Proctor, short ball to Josh Morby, who's joined the line. Now once again going off Duplessis Karefi. Numia, offload to Rayasi. Space starting to open up. Finds the beautiful offload to Barrett, who got greedy. Roy Guard was calling for it. He's in touch, Geordie Barrett. You silly goose. Should have been the ball on the inside. Free try. Kapai Waiata Hamish. I only took one term, Amari. No, I won't lie to you. Should he have gone on the inside? Yes. But he hung on to it, thought he was going to be able to get around Finley Christie, who puts him into touch. And then Barrett, when he was out of the field of play, went, oh, maybe I should have offloaded that. Now, nicely claimed by the Blues. 5 meters out from their line. They'll throw James Lay forward. Now, looks like Christie will either go for the kick himself or put it back into the pocket for Bowden Barrett to be able to deal with. Be told to use it now. Pulling the ball back. And he's going to be kicking this one into touch. Finley Christie. It's a good kick as well. Down towards the 22. Not a huge amount of meterage on it, but just enough to relieve some of the pressure that the Hurricanes are trying to put on the Blues early. It's quite interesting because the second half, the start of it, you'd have to say that the Hurricanes seem like they've found another gear. It's making their way back out onto the field. They've thrown it to the back. They've knocked the ball on. I am sorry, Hurricanes. I just jinxed you. Now, going to be Bowden Barrett goes across. Perafeta almost through. Considered offloading, decided against it. So Finn does box. There's the snooze. That's going to end up being the penalty in favour of the Blues. Past it. For Proctor, man, second best. The AB's for real. So who's your best? Are you going Smith as number one? And then, so you're going Christie above Weber, I guess that would mean, wouldn't it? Now, 35 minutes remain at the moment in this match. Like I mentioned, we will be covering the next game that's taking place between the Brumbies and the Reds. And that ball has gone into touch. Josh Morby not quite able to keep it in the field of play. So currently, the betting odds for this match of Hurricanes are $26 underdogs. If anyone who was wondering about how the odds do sit, which does mean they're heavily heavily. Not expected to win. The best way of wording it. Who knows? Have to go for the Coach Smith. Here's this news. Now, tackle is going to be successful. Now it's available at the back. Christie goes off to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. And that's going to be stolen in the breakdown by the Hurricanes. Very nicely done. Xavier Numia tries to drive his legs. Now Roigard back into the pocket, goes to Burke. Gets some meterage on that one. Yes, he does. Perifetta. Waiting for this ball. Looks like it's gone almost backwards. Yeah, no, that's gone a meter. Geordie Barrett slaps it back like he's playing in the AFL. Another offload from Asafa and Moore. Now, great step from Roigard. Goes through two. Billy Proctor accelerates, but it's a great tackle made by Fusitua. Both Tucker and Fusitua losing their footing there. Josh Morby trying to go through. Good tackle made again by Finley Christie. Now, Burke goes across to Devon Flanders. They need 3 tries here, the Hurricanes. How do you watch from the UK, says Sam R. I believe it's on. Oh, good one again. I think it's on Sky over in the UK. But on Salisi Rayasi through. And he found a beautiful offload into his hand. Scores the try. The Hurricanes back in it. Are they still $26 underdogs? No, now they're paying $8. Just like that. Boom. Down it goes. But yeah, I believe Sky Sport UK is the option. But the best way of doing it is to go on the Super Rugby website, and then they'll have where to watch depending on where you are in the world. No good. Sky doesn't work here, man. There's Sam. We'll go Super Rugby where to watch. Broadcast guide. So that'll be what you're after. So yeah, it is on Sky UK. They're going upstairs for something here. Canal Plus is in France. USA is Flow Sports. Premier Sports is in Southeast Asia. So yeah, Sky UK is your only real bet, unless you have a VPN. Do you have a VPN? Flow Rugby or live streaming sites. Also, who won the cricket? Did your team win? We did not in the end. We ended up missing out, but we put in a good showing, I felt. We did well for what it was. Oh. This sounds like trouble. Suafua. Cam Suafua. They're saying it was round the eye, round the head. And the play the Blues are looking for. Oh, says this news. I have to try and get the sunscreen out of my eyes from earlier. I don't know why I sunscreen my eyes. At least they're not going to get burnt. Right. It's going to be a yellow card for Cameron Suafua. Now, they have got 7 minutes to decide whether or not that is worse than a yellow card. And that is the TMO's job to make that decision. The try will stand, though. The Hurricanes now going to be within the 10 points. Cheers, Sky Go and VPN don't work. We'll give others a try, says Sam there. So the other option's probably just looking through that broadcast guide, you might be better off getting Stan Sport as a free trial, Sam. But you only get it for a week is the only thing. But if you set your location on a VPN to Australia, sign up for Stan Sport. You'll have to put in all your details, of course, but they will only card you after the 7-day free trial. And then just cancel that 7-day free trial. If you are that keen on watching this round, if you do want to do that for a future round, though, I'd recommend doing it just before the first match, if that one is the one you want to watch. Now, it's going to be kicked up. Lakai knocks it backwards. Roigard now back across to Josh Morby. Looks like he's going to try and have a bit of a run. Cameron Suafua off the field. That is a lock that the Blues will be missing. Yellow card for the Blues. Says Novmum. That is something that I said that they needed. I said that if the Blues get a yellow card, that is one thing that will get the Hurricanes back into the contest. We're now $7 underdogs. It shows it's not over till it's over. If Wales lose tonight, won't be amazed. They need a rebuild from top to bottom. They have good youngsters. They just need to kick up the backside, says Bing. Yeah, we will be covering that one. It will be starting at 3:15 a.m. New Zealand time. So Tutu, I believe, was in touch. Yes, he was. Now it is going to be a Hurricanes line out once again. Yeah, it's going to be a good game because Italy, everyone's been saying in their last few games, they've improved drastically. And I wonder if it's going to be the case when they do go head to head with the side that have been struggling, or whether it's just when they're playing up against top opposition that they've found themselves success. Should be good to watch. The bus charging at the line. Good low tackle made by Caleb Clark. Now Blackwell. Pop pass. Here comes Lakai with the step as well. Bends off Tuivasa. She just falls into Bowden Barrett on the 22. Now to the short side. Burke receives it. Goes to Morby. The Hurricanes now in hot attack, looking to make the most of their man advantage. Asafa Moore. As for the Blues, they'll be looking for the penalty. If they can get away with a good offload from Salisi Reasi, just keep the ball in play. Morby, 1 meter short. I think he's tried to reach out, so they will have to go upstairs for this one. But it looked a little bit similar to what we saw for the Satutu try in the first half in terms of whether or not they're going to consider it as one movement or whether it's a second movement in the process. We'll be doing the under 20s World Cup in June. Maybe. I haven't learned a huge amount of the young players, so maybe not every match of that World Cup, but perhaps some of the matches, like of New Zealand. Um, who else have we got? It's mainly where our main audiences are. For you guys who would be interested in those watch alongs. So they're just checking the grounding. Great work from Devon Flanders to keep that ball in the field of play. So that part is completely fine. Now Morby picked it up, tackled by Papali'i, and then he's allowed to place it. Oh, he's dropped it short. Dropped it short. And Italy will give France and New Zealand a go at the Rugby World Cup and what a comeback for the Canes, maybe. There's Sam Henry, and killed the mosquito. There's Kano and Italy are on a rise. They will make it to the last 8 in the Rugby World Cup 2027. And have you heard of Rugby 24? I have. I did see that it is going to be released on about the 7th of September, I think it is, just before the World Cup. Short and a knock on. In the end, so that is a knock on. So more than likely that's going to be a Blues scrum here. They're saying it's a tight one. It's not too tight. It's just a drop ball, I think is the best way of describing it. If he scored it, this angle will probably show us. Are they saying that he's still controlling it with the forearm? You have a link to the game? Only Sky, which is a paid service, unfortunately, George. Apologise for that. I don't think it's made it to the line, and I think it was a knock on. See, I don't know if he's got control of that. Don't get me wrong. If it slid down the arm, maybe. But it didn't look like a lot of control if it is. And no control, Amby is smoking up. Says this news. Are you going to do the Hong Kong Sevens? We certainly are. That's a controversial one. They've awarded the try. That's going to infuriate a lot of Blues fans. Yeah. No comment on that one. I think that was probably a no try. If I'm being honest, I'm always impartial, as you guys know. For me, he lost control of the ball. He knocked it on, I believe, and it was also, in my eyes, it started short. So, no way that it was short, says Novmum there. What stadium again? It is at Sky Stadium in Wellington. I got the second mosquito as well. Good stuff, Kano. Showing the mosquitoes who's boss of the house. But yeah, we are going to be doing the Hong Kong Sevens. We're doing all Sevens legs. Not convinced that was a try, neither. But it gets them back into the match. And aside that we're $26 underdogs, we might as well have another look and see. They're now $2.70 underdogs. They've gone down by 90%. Refs need glasses. There's November moment. Dalton Papali'i should have been sent to the bin for the high tackle. Very much tried to rip Morby's head from his neck. It was interesting, wasn't it? He kind of grabbed him like this. And by the forward, Ireland and South Africa are the favourites for the Rugby World Cup this year. I think France are going to get knocked out by South Africa in the last 8. Australia will make it to the semis. Ed Jones will fix the Wallabies. Now another big run. This time it's Duplessis Karifi and damn Fijian draw. Yeah, getting themselves a massive, massive win over the Crusaders. Now suffer more. Tries the offload. Goes straight to Dalton Papali. Now, if there's justice in a game of rugby, the Blues will score now and kind of cancel out that last try that the Hurricanes were able to get for themselves. That was a shocking pass from Rico Ioane. Goes into touch, and it will now be a Hurricanes line out or scrum because I believe it was fought. And come on, Canes, serve Bowden Barrett right for leaving, says Sam Henry. Didn't that happen like 7 years ago, Sam? It was a bit sooner than that one. And Devon Flanders having a Oakley Dokley game for the Canes. Guess the Simpsons reference. Very good. Ned Flanders, bit of an icon, isn't he? All right, they want to check this one again. Big scoring game it is. Okay, the Blues bench weren't happy, so they've seen something. And it might have been a clean out. Go the Blues, says Max there. And currently only the 3 points ahead, but they can level the playing field, have 14 versus 14. They could be very successful. New Zealand aren't good enough. Their aura is gone. Ireland will smack them in the last day. Says Bing. Right, they're checking for potential foul play. What are we going to learn here? Guy Wakaliawiri picks him up. Oh, yeah, both legs in the air. Hodgman. Okay, that's going to be probably a yellow card for Wakaliawiri. Some good games of code today, says the Lim report. And can you say shout out to George Murphy? There you go. Right, they're saying that Peter Lakai also was involved. Oh, if yeah, that's a red card. It Blues down a man, and how long till he's back? 6 minutes till Cameron Sawfill makes his way back out onto the field. Good spotting by the refs, says the Lim report. I don't even think it was the refs who spotted it. I think it was the fact that the Blues bench protested so much that they had to kind of go back and have a look. Go Blues from Samoa, says Jerry in there. Right. What's the decision? Two guys in the clean out action. Oh, okay. Here we go. So they have said because there were two players involved, it's not a yellow card because both of the Isaiah Wakali already smiling. He knows that he got away with that one because to a certain extent, yes, Peter Lakai was involved, but that's like saying if you're going to dump truck someone, if you drop them on their head, as long as another guy's got an arm on him, that's fine. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just don't know the rules. He is injured out for the season. There's a Lim report and Alex Hodgman to the bin. 6 minutes unless they think it's a red, says the Lim report. That is true. They can upgrade it to a red card if they need to. And damn, that's a surprise. Kane's very lucky there. Lim report, and it's going to be stolen by the Hurricanes. Now fired back into the pocket. Fergus Burke will be booting this one downfield. Oh, Caleb Clark wants to take this one quickly, considers it, but won't do it. Double yellow card refs. Can't believe if the Canes win tonight because Savi isn't playing, says Jerry. Hands up, says Amelia. Welcome in, Amelia. Doing well. You would have loved watching the Rebels play last night. Papaleti goes off now to Caleb Clark. Blues, they need another try and they need it soon. Yes, they're a man disadvantage. They've still got that All Blacks backline almost. On eye from Bowden Barrett. Nicely taken by Salisi Rayasi. He's stepped up in this game. He's done very well. Rugby's turned into tiddlywinks nowadays in terms of the Savia situation, says Samar in there. Yeah, that is true. There's certain decisions at the moment that people go, huh? But, yeah. Feta. Now going to be put in the kick high. Waiting for this one to come down. Oh, great take from Geordie Barrett, sliding into it like it was a cricket catch. Tackled by Rico Ioane, though. Now going off to the left-hand side. Roy Guard puts up the box kick. Looks like it's going to be nicely taken by Bowden Barrett. Caleb Clark now tries to go through. Flanders gets him round his bootlaces. Tackles him near the halfway line. Rico Ioane with a bit of a step. Tom Robinson joining that breakdown from his knees. I don't think you're allowed to do. Seeing as he did come in through the side, but it is all good for now. The Blues still in possession. Bowden Barrett will put this ball high. Waiting for this one to come down as Dalton Papali'i hasn't taken it. Instead, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck does manage to clean it up. Also, well, Kane's coming back. Says Hanoi exactly right. They're very close in this game. 3 points. They were down 22 points to 5. That yellow card's really changed the game for them at the moment. Now, RTS. Goodbye, Numia. Christie with the bounce pass to Nipololala. Again, going to the right. Barrett tries a switch, breaks through one tackle. Another great low tackle made by Duplessis Karifi. I have to say that the two in Flanders and also Duplessis Karifi both made a lot of tackles throughout this match, which has been pretty important for them. And Hamish, did you hear us on the TV last night? I didn't. I was actually at the local pub during that time and couldn't hear anything just because they didn't actually have the sound on the telly. That one coach should do something about this teammates' discipline. They're good players, but they had that bad discipline, bruh, says Jerry. Yeah, they just don't seem to know how to give away less than 15 penalties a game, the Blues, unfortunately. And it's something that could cost them big games. For now, it doesn't matter so much because we're still early on in the season. You know, anything's possible by the end of it. But when you get later in the season, not giving away penalties will be absolutely huge. And how many minutes remaining? We've currently got another 25 minutes remaining in this match. Now, I should mention we are covering the game taking place between the Reds and the Brumbies. I'll be kicking off at 9:35 p.m. And I say we because it will be myself and also George there as well. Rebels forwards growing stronger each game. Richard Hardwick, Carter Gordon leading the way in Amelia. There's Nate. Julian Savia, surprise try, says Mr. Lerm. Rebels did well, 3 from the last 4 against the Tars in Victoria. It looks like it's going to be a goal line dropout, but Jamie Booth now out on the field. That is for Cam Roygard. They've got a couple other subbing options that they could use, but they may wait a bit longer. Now, Hoskins Tutu charges at the line. Tyrell Lomax makes the tackle on him. Ronan Barrett, short pop pass up to James Tucker. He came off the bench relatively early, and that was due to the injury of Patrick Tuipulotu, which I hope he's all right because he did have quite the start to this game, managing to get himself a try. And can you say shout out to Mika Muffy as well, says George. Now Tucker, who's up to the 22. Finley Christie goes across to Alex Hodgman. And penalty goes the way of the Hurricanes. Interesting. Said that the Blues going off their feet. And it looks like Duplessis Karifi's got some sort of spine injury at the moment, or at least in the back anyway. Might have twisted a little bit awkward. See that Devon Flanders has been taken off the field for TK Howden. That is a big sub to make. The amount of tackles that Flanders has been able to make. But it looks like Cameron Suafua can now return to the field. He has served his time. Showing their career. Oh, that's a cheap shot from Nepo Lulala. That's actually really dirty from Nepo Lulala. And if they didn't already have the penalty, they should have had another one. They might even go upstairs. That was just cynical from Nipololala. That was a dumb play at this stage of the match. And surprised that yellow didn't become a red, says the Lim report. Duplessis Karifi, he's still down. So eventually the referees might go, what was it that actually ended up hitting him? Amelia was noisy at the game, Avish. Could hear her from the MCG, says Nate. "17 penalties last week. They ended up conceding. This one was another Nipololala just staying very quiet at the moment. Looks like he's going to be all right. Nick Berry, is he going to go upstairs? Okay, Hamish and Rugby fans, enjoy. I got to run work at school and catch up with you guys later. Enjoy your day at work, Ruth. Hopefully it goes well. And we still drinking electrolytes, Hammy? We absolutely are, even though we don't know what they are. I think there's 4 types of electrolytes in Powerade, which are sodium. No, sodium. An electrolyte. I think it's sodium, calcium. I got a blue tongue. Magnesium? Does it say? What are the 4? It's got sodium chloride in it. I know that there's four essential ones. And shame that try was almost unlucky, says Roof, and the Chiefs are watching, says Mr. Loom. And it was the first time doing that, lol, says Sam. Yeah, Nipolala is one of those players that it's hard to get behind him because he just does things like that. And you're like, you dirty fellow. You know, potassium, is that another one of them? So potassium, sodium, magnesium, and calcium. Is that the four? Those the four electrolytes? Oh, Nipolala picks the ball up. Just to regather it for the Blues. Powerade contains four electrolytes: sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Boom. Here we go. Janae coming in with the straight facts. Hope you're doing well, Janae. You've been keeping well, enjoying the rugby so far over the. Oh, wait, you know, you go for the Crusaders. Hope you have been enjoying most of the rugby over the weekend, Janae. Here's trouble. Says Nate. Nate, I can't be late. Kiwi Lads rock forever. Zinc, says Spider Mech. And those four electrolytes surpassed sufficiently by vitamin sugar. Although I've got Powerade Zero Sugar. So it's got salt in it. They just put more salt so that it seems sweet. It's going to be a knock on from the Blues. I believe it was Kurt Eklund who has ended up dropping that ball. Couple changes. Adrian Choate makes his way out there. Roger Tuivasa-Sheck makes way for Bryce Heem. He's now out there. They're doing the Macarena at the moment at Sky Stadium. What way round is it? Then you do something on your hips and stuff, isn't it? I haven't done the Macarena. I went to the pub last night, but if I did the Macarena in front of a large man, he'd probably drop me. Only 20 minutes remaining in this one. They're talking to Patrick Tuipulotu. I'm also Fijian, so it doesn't hurt too much. Okay, so that's good. At least you've got some, I guess, something from it. And I guess Crusaders walk away with a bonus, or yeah, bonus point for losing. We're gonna have George on the next live stream, Sinead, so you know just as well as anyone that one will be hectic for the Blues. Sorry, the Brumbies versus the Reds. Go New Zealand, says Crystal there. I guess better get to work. Make it easy at work, says Blues Nate. Now Jamie Booth will kick it downfield straight to Bowden Barrett. Now 40 metres out from his line, goes across to AJ Lamb. Decides to boot it himself. Doesn't often go for the kick, and it looks like it might almost work out for him, although it sits up for Fergus Burke. He's then able to boot it way down the field, about 32 metres out from his own side's line. That was certainly fast-paced, as it always is between these two sides. I think this is my favourite game to watch in terms of if you like colours in Super Rugby. You know, I feel like the blue and the yellow just are two of my favorite colors. And so I always enjoy watching these games. Is that sad or not? I feel like it's logical. Tuolangi played for France yesterday. One in every country since, says Gareth. And go the Kane, says Calera. And also leave this, I like the stream all, says, you know, you the man. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like on this live stream. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new. We've got plenty more Super Rugby and also Six Nations coming up tonight that we will be covering. That one's gone out on the full. Or has it? No, it's all good. Great kick from Josh Morby. Now the Blues just outside of their 22 will have their own line out. Come on, the Blues Hurricanes score a try and make it real quick passing. Here's Mr. Lerm. The good news is neither side playing with 14 men on the field at the moment, both with their full 15. You like colours? So not white. Oof. I know. I'm going to get a meme made out of it. I don't know, Janae. Oh, George loves your GIFs or your memes that you've got on the Discord. He was laughing hysterically at them after the live stream ended the other day. Now, Geordie Barrett moves up to 22 metres out from the line. Jamie Booth goes across to Lakai, driven backwards by James Tucker. Now, going to be back to Burke. Salisi Reasi almost going through. Tackled by Caleb Clark. Got the knee down. They do have to release him. Bit of a counteract there from Kurt Eklund. Now, that man knows how to do a suplex or two when he needs to. Normally ends in a suspension, but he does enjoy doing them. Now, Lakai bumping off AJ Lamb, or at least trying to. Come on, voice. Don't give up on me now. Geordie Barrett goes across. Big run from TK Howden. Ball bounces out the side. Booth's under pressure. Ball, they've said that it's gone forward. I thought it might have rolled backwards for the Canes there. You have a link for the Discord. says Xavier. I will try and find it straight after the match. A quick surprise try. Here's Mr. Loom. That's going to be Christie. Inside ball to Dalton Papali. Another offload to Finley Christie. Suafua after returning from his yellow card. No 7. Oh, he's been cleaned out big time by Alex Hodgman, who just bumped him over. Now Christie goes off to James Tucker again. Working the breakdown currently from the Hurricanes. Bit of a counter ruck coming in here. Geordie Barrett just bumping. Oh, Duplessis Karifi. I feel bad for the guy. He's just getting ragdolled by his own teammates as well. All bounces out the back. Proctor putting the pressure on Christie, and now Bowden Barrett decides that a kick wouldn't be a terrible idea. Nicely controlled by Josh Morby with his shins. Goes across to the bus. Choo-choo. That's what a train would say. Here comes the bus. Inside ball to Salisi Reasi. Now, Julian Savi has pulled up a little bit lame there, so keep an eye on him, or I will. You can't see the game. Now, over the ball. Penalty won by the Blues. It was Rico Ioane. He got in there. It's okay. I'm Moore. I didn't see the ball bounce over here. There's the Blues, Nate. Massive, massive turnover there. Right, we'll go like this. And we'll go like this. And like this. And like that. And like that. There you go. That is the link for the Kiwi Lads Discord. Anyone who wants to join, pretty much, it's the best way of knowing what streams we're going to be doing. Because I do normally put them in that as soon as I schedule them. This weekend is actually the one example that it's not. But yeah, normally we do put them in as a way of keeping track of it. So yeah, be sure to check that out for the old Discord. Also, Tana Umanga played for Wellington. Did he play for Auckland? I think he played for both, did he? Or are you thinking of Nonu? He ended up playing for Auckland, didn't he? That's going to be another mistake this time from the Hurricanes. They're shooting themselves in the foot here, which I know wouldn't feel nice. And Canes is on D big time. Execution has to be sharp, boys. Thanks, Hamish. I shall send you a picture of the Ipswich Jets. Old logo versus new logo, says Xavier. All right, I go like this. Yeah, I think his favorite meme out of all of them, Junaid, was definitely the one with George, what's your favorite season? And then the one where I said about the Super Rugby season. He enjoys that one very much. 15 minutes remaining. Still close. 3 points difference. These sides know how to have quite close games. If the last time they faced off, it might have only been a few points difference. The new logo is ugly, says Xavier, for the Ipswich Jets. It doesn't roll off the tongue very well, does it? Ipswich Jets. Blues all the way, says Akanisi. Now 40 metres out from the line. Finley Christie goes off to Satutu. Karifi on the ball. No, it wasn't. They come on the Blues, says to Uso, and go the Blues, says Novmum. So Novmum, is you're going for the Blues so that there is a slightly bigger gap between the Chiefs and second place? Or is you're going for the Blues because they are closer to you then? Although they might not be, actually. They got a fitter inside ball to Bryce Seam. Geordie Barrett getting a noggin knocker there. Now, Finley Christie goes across to Alex Hodgman. Rickety Stone's doing very well to roll out of that breakdown now. Short ball to Nepo Lalalu, got driven backwards. I'd be lying if I didn't enjoy watching that. Now, Bowden Barrett, once again, trying to get through this defensive line. The Blues, neither side have really allowed the forwards to dominate this game. It's always been those few phases, and then we normally see that backline movement that creates the space. It's good to know, says Junaid. Oh, loose ball. Hurricanes take it back. Go the Blues, says Jerry. And not as ugly as the Crusaders logo change. Says L19, the rivalry between us is to go back for Hammy. Says the snooze, that one's going to be into touch. Relieving the pressure once more are the Hurricanes. They named the Jets because of RAF based in Amberley. It is one of, if not, the oldest airbase in Australia. It has been the name since they were created in 1982. And good luck, the Blues, says Akanisi. And go Blues, says Jerry. Seems like we've got a lot more Blues supporters in the chat than Hurricanes supporters. Tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to put either Blues or Hurricanes in the chat. I want to see the split that we've got. Of course, we've got that poll, but yeah, right. Hurricanes or Blues, who you want to win? I play for only one team, was Wellington Lions and Hurricanes back in the days. There's a More. Now Booth going back across to a Suffer more. It was very quick, D Paul. He's going for the Blues. Go the Hurricanes, go the Wellington Lions. Hurricanes, says Sam Henry Sports. Kicked him behind. Nicely taken by Perafetta, who now tries to fend off Salisi Reasi. That comes over, helps him out. And Mark was thinking about you yesterday during the stream with the Chiefs win of mum. Says Junaid there. Were you wearing your Flash New 2023 kit, Novmum, or were you wearing the... I believe you had a pink Chiefs kit, didn't you? Punting on them, says D. Paul. Dana played for the Counties and the Chiefs too, says Owen 19. And go the Hurricanes, says Marcus. Papali'i driven into touch. And now, I believe, in fact, sorry, he took the player into touch, so it is now going to be a Blues line-out. Draw would be good, says Kano. And of course, if it does end up ending as a draw scenario, we will have to go to golden point time, which is going to be an extra 5, I believe, minutes, or it might be 10 minutes. But then whoever wins from there is the side who gets one singular point. Or more, of course. Thrown over the top. A little bit of a rough one to Suffer more. Almost taking Bowden Barrett's head off, but he's gone straight through Barrett. Gone for the grubber, being taken out in the process. He'll be asking for a penalty for that one, but for now, it's play on. Nicely taken by Blackwell. It was a great game. My husband caught a glimpse of me on the field after the game. Says Novmum, and morning, says Yako, welcome in. And no go the Cane, says Amore. Now nicely taken by Petafito on the halfway line. Goes across to AJ Lamb. Trying to step through. Proctor's had a busy game in the midfield as well. He's made, I would say, 10 to 15 tackles. I do enjoy watching Stephen Petafetta, though. He's a handy player, Stephen Petafetta. Got a bright future when the All Blacks give him more than 50 seconds. Now, Adrian Choate. Good run. Finley Christie goes short side. Sells the dummy. Going himself. Goes to Bryce Heem, who bumps through one tackle. Aidan Morgan, though, gets him around the legs. Drives him backwards. Could have moved out of the way, says the Lim report. Now, another tackle made. And the penalty advantage goes the way of the Blues. This is straight out in front of the post as well, so they might consider going for the 3 if it's available. Now, Christie went for the grubber in behind. It's going to be knocked on. Going back for the penalty in favour of the Blues. Brian Abana, number 11 for the Springboks Rugby Championship 2023. I mean, I don't know if Brian knows that, though, because he was actually at the Sevens event not too long ago, Vancouver Sevens, and he was absolutely dining out with the buffet that they had available. So I don't think all of the food on that plate was to get him into rugby shape. It was more of just to enjoy it, you know? And consider, says the snooze, and let's go the Blues. And I would like to see Artie Savia's big smile with the Hurricanes win, says Mr. Lerman. Hey, brother Hamish, good to see you. Welcome in, mate. Good to see you too. I think the Canes stopped to try there illegally, says the Lim report. So I believe it was in the breakdown that they didn't end up getting themselves penalised. Bro, I support the Blues because the team is full of Samoans. Plus, my family lives at Auckland, New Zealand. That's why I support the Blues. 685 Blues, says Jerry. So I assume you're a firm supporter of the Samoa Sevens, Jerry, if I'm not wrong. They keep on getting really tough draws, and I believe the next one for Hong Kong involves them. Ireland? Are they in with Ireland? I'm actually going to have a quick look because I saved the picture. Samoa have to go up against Argentina, Fiji, and Canada in the Hong Kong Sevens. Like a very good side's going to miss out on the quarterfinals there. Whereas you look at another group like France, Great Britain, Uruguay, Hong Kong, and it's not quite as impressive, is it? And I thank you for updating the game between Blues and the Hurricanes, watching all the way from Rarotonga here in the Cook Islands, says Vaitoti. What's the weather like at the moment in the Cook Islands? Vaitoti, do let me know. It's somewhere that I've always wanted to go, is Rarotonga. And the Hurricanes epic comeback, hopefully, says Mr. Loom. And Timber Vavuma must make the 200 Proteas today in the test. And hi there, says Richard. Welcome in, Richard. You are doing well, mate. 8 minutes remaining in this match and still 6 points difference between them. So they did end up taking that 3 points, like I mentioned just a little bit earlier on. I see that Finley Christie is off the field. Tolfa Funaki will be replacing him. What's your name? My name is Hamish. And salute Tyrell Lomax. So the only player I know named Hamish is probably Hamish Watson from Scotland. Other than that, I don't think there's many Hamishes around in the rugby world. Now Barrett goes across now. Oh, that was a risky offload from Delaney, but it went backwards. We go Raro Donga. You see the ladies' hips shaking, dancing Uso. Says Marco, go the Warriors. And now, yes, says keep it Seki. Does a great commentary watching all the way from South Africa. Says Cat Lego. What's your thoughts on the draw win over the Crusaders? I'm sad that my cricket final overlapped, but we did end up with Rugby Itch doing the commentary. I was watching it on like just the scoreboard while actually after I finished batting, which tells you I didn't bat the whole innings, which is a bit sad. But I was looking at it and I believe it was 12 points to 5, and it was 12 all, and I was like, ooh, gonna be a very good game. And then the Fijian draw to get over the line at the end. I'm definitely gonna have to watch that full match replay, but it's gonna be a lot of happy Fijians at the moment, that is for sure. And deservedly so as well. Taking on the Crusaders in Fiji, getting the win. Incredible stuff. Go the Blues says Akanisi. You go the Hurricanes says Ollie is the best. It's like Hoskins Satutu will take this on off the back now, finding quite a bit of space here, Satutu. Who's up to 40 meters out from the Hurricanes line. Bit of a counter ruck there. I believe he's actually got that one. Has he? Yeah, the Aidan Morgan. Put his body on the line underneath. Well done, the drawer. Says the snooze. And it just makes the competition that little bit more interesting, doesn't it? And Hamish, we should have a game of cricket one day, says Ollie. Could do. As long as it's not as hot as it was today, because it was a bit warm. Which is why I'm on to my second Powerade Zero, which is not sponsored. But if I keep drinking 50 of them, I'm going to have to reach out at some point. Crusaders and the Blues are losing. I'm drinking whiskey till church tomorrow. That might not be a good idea, Mr. Loom. That might hurt your head quite a bit. So fingers crossed for you, for the Blues then. Go the ref, says Lowell Philly. Advantage now for Jamie Booth. It's going to be a loose ball, so they go back. How about a May, says Ollie. Well, you'd have to come down here, Ollie, because although I am planning a trip up to Auckland, I'm going to see Mark and Tony at some stage in the future. Oh, that is a terrible kick from Geordie Barrett. And not for you, clearly you didn't see the game in Latoka, Fiji. Yeah, I can't really complain, can I? Like, we were probably 20, 23 degrees in Latoka. It would have been cooking big time. Now, Lakai goes across to Geordie Barrett. All almost, yeah, stolen in the breakdown. Now, Bowden Barrett kicks it high, almost charged down by his brother Geordie. Doesn't find a huge amount of distance on it, but currently the 6-point difference. How many penalties? Or many penalties? Yeah, we've had quite a few throughout this matchup. In fact, I can tell you the exact number. How was the game draw versus Crusaders? I only got to see the scoreboard. We did have Tim from Rugby Itch doing it on the channel for us, which was good to have him on. But yeah, it certainly sounded like it was a pretty epic one. There's currently been 20 penalties. That is last updated maybe a few minutes ago, but that is 11 penalties against the Blues compared to the 9 penalties against the Hurricanes. So both sides disciplined, letting them down a little bit. It'd be great to have a game of cricket with you. Says Ollie there. Oh, you got a hot tub time machine, Mr. Loom. Oosh to the big smoke, Hamish Juice. The bright lights of Auckland City. You can find yourself a gold tooth 135 kg Tongan princess, says Marco. I had to come to Waikato as well, Johnny. Come in for a visit. I was going to go fishing with David, who's in Rotorua. How close is that to you, Marco? I know you're up there somewhere in Waikato, but are you in Rotorua as well? Not quite. Come on the Blues. Says November, mum. They suck, man, says Chuck. And defense has been the difference, you reckon, Hammy? Blues execution sharp. I can only be right timing, although currently the Hurricanes back on attack again. Big shot, almost turned over. Geordie Barrett slightly losing his footing, but they've said that it's all right. Lakai now. Is available again? Booth going back across to Blackwell. This will be a massive upset, but Dalton Papali almost had the ball, but got crushed in the process. Now, TK Howden offloads it to Billy Proctor, who runs round the referee, using him as a bit of a wall. Little flick out the back. The Safa Moore, the bulldozer in the number 16 jersey. Now, Papali seems to be the only Blues player who's trying to fight for a turnover here, which is interesting to see. It's called as a tackle. They do have to release him. Only a couple meters now between them and a final minute try that could decide this game. Currently 2.5 minutes remain. Booth, you don't want to be the player who drops this ball for the Hurricanes. That is one thing for sure. Booth again goes across to Blackwell. 10 meters out. He's dropped the ball and it's a knock on. I just said that you don't want to be the guy who does it, and then he did it straight away. Come on the cane, says Lehman. Come on the cane, says Sam. Super Rugby is the league playing touch rugby, says Jack, and they barely play in most games compared to other countries, says Gareth. For Leinster and Irish players are safely wrapped, says Gareth. And now only toothless in the Waikato Uso, says Marco. Nah, but surely for I guess the best way of doing it is probably Auckland, then you go to Waikato, and then head back down south after. Thank God, says D. Paul in Champions game, boys. Says the snooze and oh dear, says Ali Scout. Yeah, that was the moment for the Hurricanes, although I will mention it is not over yet. Still a chance. There's still another minute remaining on the clock. In fact, 1 minute and 20 seconds. Like this. We'll go like this as well. One moment. That, go like that, go like that, and like that. Here we go. Right. Big push from the Hurricanes. They get the penalty, and this game's not over. Probably been asked before, but who are you supporting? I am neutral in this game, although everyone loves an underdog. I mentioned it earlier as well. The Hurricanes were $26 underdogs, and then now they're sitting as $41 underdogs. They were after that penalty was awarded. I bet you they're not 41 now. The TAB would have locked that out as soon as physically possible. I think they're going to go for a tap and go here. I think they're going to just go for it. Where are they on the field in the park? They are 10 meters out from the Blues line here. Go to Samoa. Right, 10 meters out. They're going to take the quick tap. Asafa Amua. If anyone can stop him, it's got to be this big Blues pack. He offloads it though. Now 5 meters out for the line here for the Hurricanes. Jamie Booth out the back line. Second chance here due to that scrum. Proctor tackled there. 5 meters out for the line. Another run from Delaney. Ball still available at the back. Booth goes off to the left-hand side to Lakai. 2 meters out. Papali stuck under the breakdown, so he will end up probably giving away the penalty advantage. He does. And the Hurricanes, are they going to be able to do it? Barrett goes for the kick in behind. He shouldn't have done that. They should have just kept on attacking the way that they were. A little bit of push and shove there between Morgan and Funaki, but they smile. Now Funaki says, I want your Hurricanes kit, please. Wouldn't let it go. Looks like they're going to go for the tap again. The kick needs to be successful. I should mention, this time they go for the scrum. How about that Crusaders versus Fiji and draw game? It finished very close. This game could be along those same lines. 10 meters down, says Junaid, and they are still there, breathing down the Blues' neck. The Hurricanes have currently got themselves the bonus point. This is the last chance in this matchup. We are after the full-time siren. Ladies and gentlemen, I want your Hurricanes kit, please, says Junaid. Who knows? Maybe Funaki. I mean, that's one thing. The Hurricanes always have halfbacks, don't they? They've got about 7. Whereas the Blues, Finley Christie getting that starting spot, Funaki. I could see him wearing a yellow kit. But I also very much like the Hurricanes kit as well. So I can understand why he was trying to steal it. Now, Jamie Booth puts the ball in. It's a big push. Lakai off the... Oh, wow. That was great pace from Adrian Choke to break off the back of the scrum. Rico tries to hold him up. He is now down. So Tutu trying to help him out. Papali dropped on his head. He's going to throw everything into it. Counter ruck from the Blues. Is it going to be their ball? It looks like it's going to come out the back. And the Blues, all they need to do is put this one into the pocket, kick it into touch, and the Blues are victorious. 25 points to 19. And that's a little bit too close for comfort, isn't it? Leon McDonald has a bit of a fist pump. The Hurricane supporters in attendance can't believe it, including Artie Savia, who was a little bit disappointed with that one, you'd have to say. And thanks, Blues, for the game tonight. Better Feta family. And also, we have got there the mighty, says the snooze, and oof, says Junaid. It was that counter ruck. Papa Lee wasn't involved because he got dropped on his head. But I believe it was a couple of those other big forwards, Suafua maybe and Chote, both getting involved, going for that little bit of a counter ruck, and it was all they needed to be able to get that ball back. I wonder if the Super Rugby game is going to be like this today, because if they are, I'm going to have no voice by the end of the night. Luckily, we aren't covering the Western Force Moana Pacifica game. Because or else then Force would have been gone before the Six Nations comp start, says Sam. Exactly right. Blues winning that game, it means that they will go up into second. Like I mentioned, they don't receive the bonus point. So because of that, we'll go Super Rugby. Oopsies, Super Rugby 6 is what I accidentally typed in. Because of the 1-6 at the end, I'm confused. So we'll go like this. The table at the moment, the Hurricanes sitting there on 9 points. The Blues, they were sitting on 6 points, but now they'll move up to 10 for this match. You doing Reds Brumbies? I am indeed, and I will have George with me for that next live stream when it is myself and George doing the two Aussie sides clash in a Hurricanes. Says no time to jump in the tub, says Mr. Lerm. And no time for the cuppa. Kakita Kiwi lads, says Spider Mech in there as well. But I do thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Like I mentioned, we're going to be back a little bit later on. And also what we are about to do is we are popping over to Tim's channel, Rugby Itch. You guys saw him a little bit earlier on for the Crusaders versus Fiji and Drua game. We are popping over there for a bit of a post-match review between the two of us. So be sure to head on over there as well. This is the link to be able to follow me over for that one, which I will be joining in a very, very short moment. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in for the Reds versus Brumbies. Like I mentioned, myself and George, PG 14 / probably 18 because George swears a lot. We'll see you all for the next one.